South Carolina's real estate industry does not want you to see this video because the 12 towns I'm about to show you make every overpriced Hilton Head golf resort and every bloated Beaufort waterfront listing look like a financial mistake. See, there's a version of South Carolina retirement that nobody talks about. The version where your home costs less than a new pickup truck, your neighbors actually know your name, and you're not paying a fortune in insurance just to live near a beach you visit twice. I spent months digging through the parts of South Carolina that don't make it onto the postcards, and what I found was a town where Dizzy Gillespie was born and a jazz festival still shakes the streets every spring, a former gold rush town sitting on the edge of one of the largest lakes in the eastern United States, a county that has produced 10 state governors and one of the longest-serving U.S. senators in history, and a Revolutionary War battlefield tucked inside a town with a name that sounds like a math problem. If any of that sounds better than a $400 HOA fee and a view of your neighbor's back fence, hit that subscribe button now because we're counting down 12 South Carolina towns the retirement industry hopes you never discover. Let's count it down. Number 12, Pageland. When I first drove into Pageland, I thought I'd taken a wrong turn between Charlotte and nowhere. Then I saw the hand-painted watermelon murals on the brick storefronts and realized I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Pageland sits in Chesterfield County in the northeastern corner of South Carolina, about 45 miles east of Charlotte and 70 miles northeast of Columbia. Population runs around 2,700. It sits well inland, with no meaningful hurricane risk and no coastal flood exposure. Cost of living in this part of the state runs roughly 20 to 25% below the national average, and median home prices here have been tracking in the low to mid $140,000 range. You can buy a 3-bedroom house in Pageland for what a down payment costs near the coast. Chesterfield County's property taxes are low, and South Carolina's homestead exemption knocks the first $50,000 of your assessed home value off the books entirely once you turn 65. Here's the wild card you won't find in any brochure. Pageland calls itself the watermelon capital of the world, and it is not joking. The Pageland Watermelon Festival has been running for more than 60 years and at its peak drew upward of 100,000 visitors to a town of 2,700. They have crowned a watermelon queen every summer since the 1950s. I am not making that up. For retirees, the appeal is straightforward: extremely low housing costs, genuine community identity, and an easy drive to Charlotte for specialist care. McLeod Health Cheraw is about 20 miles north, giving you a real hospital within half an hour. The honest caveat: dining and entertainment options here reflect the rural reality. But if you want a $140,000 house, low taxes, and a summer festival the whole county talks about for months, Pageland deserves a closer look. Number 11, Ware Shoals. Ware Shoals caught me off guard. I expected a hollowed-out mill town and found something closer to a time capsule, intact brick buildings, a river running through the middle of it, and houses priced so low the listings looked like they had typos. Ware Shoals sits along the Saluda River in Greenwood County, about 70 miles southwest of Columbia and 40 miles from the city of Greenwood. Population is around 2,100. The inland location keeps it entirely clear of hurricane and coastal flood risk. Median home prices here are some of the lowest in the state, commonly in the low 100s, and Greenwood County's effective property tax rate for owner-occupied homes is well below the national average. Cost of living across this part of the Midlands runs 25 to 30% below the national average. The wild card: Ware Shoals was essentially built by the Regal Textile Corporation, which constructed not just the mill, but an entire model company town. The housing, the churches, the recreational facilities. For decades, the company owned everything. The mill is long gone, but the architecture left behind is a legitimate chapter of American industrial history, and the Saluda River running through town now draws kayakers and fly fishermen who have been quietly discovering this place for years. Self-regional healthcare in Greenwood is about 20 miles away, offering cardiac care, cancer services, and a full emergency department. The trade-off is thin retail and limited services. You'll drive for most specialty shopping. But for fixed-income retirees who want to stretch a Social Security check, the combination of river access, mill-era architecture, and prices that genuinely don't feel real is hard to match anywhere else in South Carolina. Number 10. Honea Path. When I first visited Honea Path, I expected the hollowed-out version of every upstate mill town I'd ever seen. Instead, I found a community with a surprisingly active feel. Older neighborhoods full of sturdy brick homes and prices that haven't been discovered yet. Honea Path is in Anderson County in the upstate, about 25 miles south of Anderson and 45 miles southwest of Greenville. Population runs around 3,600. The upstate location gives you 4 real seasons without the lowcountry's summer humidity and 0 meaningful hurricane exposure. Median home prices here have been tracking in the low to mid $150,000 range, with older homes available for considerably less. The cost of living in this part of the upstate runs roughly 15 to 20% below the national average, and Anderson County property taxes are low. The wild card here is one of the most dramatic moments in South Carolina's labor history. In September 1934, during the General Textile Strike, National Guard troops opened fire on striking workers outside the Cheraw Mill right here in Honea Path, killing 6 people. The Cheraw Mill Massacre is a serious, sobering piece of American history that the town has never forgotten. For retirees who want a place with genuine historical weight rather than manufactured charm, that depth of story matters. And Med Health in Anderson, about 25 miles north, is the nearest major medical center, with a full range of services including cancer care and orthopedics. The area also has access to Lake Secession for fishing and quiet mornings on the water. The caveat: Honea Path is small and retail is limited. You'll drive to Anderson or Greenville for specialty needs, but the housing value, upstate climate, and real community character here are genuine. Number 9. Ridge Spring. Ridge Spring is the kind of town you drive through on the way somewhere else and spend 3 weeks thinking about. The countryside rolls into soft hills covered in peach trees and apple orchards, and the town itself has the unhurried quality of a place that never got in a hurry to begin with. Ridge Spring sits in Saluda County in the Central Midlands, about 35 miles east of Aiken and 40 miles west of Columbia. Population is under 800, which puts it firmly in village territory, but the surrounding Saluda County has been drawing retirees who want land, quiet, and proximity to Columbia without the Columbia price tag. Median home prices in the Ridge Spring area and broader Saluda County have been tracking in the mid to upper $100,000 range, with larger properties on acreage available at prices that would be unthinkable anywhere near the coast. Saluda County property taxes are low, and the rural setting means you can often find several acres attached to a modest house for well under $200,000. The wild card: Ridge Spring sits in the heart of South Carolina's peach and apple country, and the farm stands and orchards here have developed a genuine following. Fudge's Orchard has been operating for generations. People drive from Columbia and Augusta specifically for the fruit. The town also sits along the Old Cherokee Path, one of the oldest trade routes in the southeast, which gives it historical roots that go back centuries before European settlement. The nearest full-service hospitals are Lexington Medical Center in West Columbia and Aiken Regional Medical Centers, both about 35 to 40 miles out. For truly rural living at low prices, that drive is the trade-off. But for retirees who want acreage, a screened porch, peach trees, and a monthly budget their coastal friends can't believe, Ridge Spring is a genuine find. Number 8. Batesburg-Leesville. Batesburg-Leesville is actually 2 towns that merged, and it still sometimes feels that way. 2 distinct personalities sharing one zip code, with a quiet practicality that comes from not trying too hard to be anything other than what it is. The town sits in Lexington County, about 35 miles west of Columbia and just 20 miles from Lake Murray, one of South Carolina's most beloved recreational lakes. Population is around 5,500. Lexington County's growth over the past decade means the infrastructure here is significantly better than you'd find in most rural communities. Median home prices in Batesburg-Leesville have been between $160,000 and the low 180s, roughly 30 to 40% below comparable homes in the Columbia suburbs proper. Lexington County has one of the lower effective property tax rates in the Midlands, and you get Lake Murray proximity at non-lake country prices. The wild card: Batesburg-Leesville was once the onion-growing capital of South Carolina. The town built entire festivals around it for decades, and the agricultural identity shaped the community's character in ways that are still visible in the way people talk about land and seasons here. Lexington Medical Center, one of the highest-rated hospitals in South Carolina, is about 35 miles east in West Columbia, well within range for specialist visits. The honest caveat: the main commercial strip is functional rather than charming. There's no buzzing downtown. But for retirees who want a centrally located, affordable base with lake access nearby and a top-tier hospital within 40 minutes, Batesburg-Leesville quietly delivers. If you're enjoying this countdown and you haven't subscribed yet, now would be a great time. I cover towns like these every single week, and the next 6 entries are even wilder than what you've seen so far. Number 7. Prosperity. I have to say something about the name first. Prosperity, South Carolina. A town literally called Prosperity. I don't know exactly what it says about your retirement that you moved to a place called Prosperity, but I suspect it says something good. Prosperity sits in Newberry County in the Central Midlands, about 45 miles northwest of Columbia and 30 miles south of Newberry. Population is around 1,200 in the town, with the surrounding county adding more. The Newberry County area has been drawing quiet attention from retirees who want to be close enough to Columbia to use it and far enough to avoid it daily. Median home prices in and around Prosperity have been tracking in the low to mid $100,000s of dollars. One retired couple, whose story I came across, reported an annual property tax bill on a 3-bedroom home of under $700 after the homestead exemption. That is not a typo. The wild card: Newberry County is quietly becoming one of South Carolina's wine country regions. The area's soil and climate have supported a growing number of small wineries and vineyards, and the county has been developing a wine trail that connects tasting rooms through the rolling Midlands countryside. For retirees who enjoy a Saturday afternoon tasting room, this hobby is very easy to take up here. Newberry County Memorial Hospital is in Newberry, about 12 miles north. Lexington Medical Center in West Columbia and Providence Health in Columbia are both within 45 minutes for specialist care. The caveat: Prosperity is small. You'll drive to Newberry for a full-service grocery store, but the affordability is exceptional. The central location is useful, and the name alone is worth a look at Zillow. Number 6. Due West. Due West is one of those towns that makes you stop and ask how it got its name. The answer is that nobody is entirely sure. One theory points to a Creek word, another to a surveyor's compass bearing, and somehow the mystery suits the town. Due West sits in Abbeville County in the western upstate, about 75 miles southwest of Greenville and 25 miles from Anderson. Population is under 1,200, but the town has an outsized presence because of Erskine College, a small liberal arts school founded in 1839. A college town, even a tiny one, has a different energy. There are lectures, performances, athletic events, and a community of people who came for education and stayed. Median home prices in Due West and surrounding Abbeville County have been tracking in the $120,000 to $150,000 range, with the county showing some of the lowest effective property tax rates in the upstate. Cost of living here runs significantly below the national average. The wild card: Due West is home to the Erskine College Historic District, which is on the National Register of Historic Places. The campus's antebellum architecture and the surrounding streets have a preserved quality that feels like a film set, except that real people actually live there. The Abbeville Opera House, a restored 1908 theater about 15 miles away, still hosts live performances. Self-regional healthcare in Greenwood is about 25 miles north, and Med Health in Anderson is roughly 25 miles east. The caveat: Due West is genuinely remote. If you need easy highway access and abundant amenities, the isolation will feel real. But for retirees who want a historic college town atmosphere, low prices, and a quiet that doesn't exist near an interstate, Due West is a legitimate find. Number 5. Saluda. Saluda is the kind of town that makes you wonder who has been keeping it secret. The courthouse square is intact, the storefronts have actual businesses in them, the surrounding countryside is beautiful, and the prices are still where they were before anyone started writing articles about it. Saluda is the county seat of Saluda County in the Central Midlands, about 45 miles west of Columbia and 30 miles north of Aiken. Population is around 3,400. It sits well inland, and while the Saluda River runs through the county, the town itself sits at a comfortable elevation away from serious flood risk. The surrounding landscape, pine forests, rolling hills, red clay roads, late afternoon light that makes you slow down, is classic South Carolina Midlands at its best. Median home prices in Saluda have been tracking in the $130,000 to $160,000 range. Saluda County property taxes are low, and cost of living here runs roughly 20% below the national average. The wild card: Saluda County is part of South Carolina's National Heritage Corridor, a federally recognized preservation zone stretching across the heart of the state. The county's historical layers go deep. Revolutionary War engagements, Cherokee trade routes, generations of agriculture that shape the interior of South Carolina. For history-minded retirees, the depth of story here is genuine. Lexington Medical Center in West Columbia is about 45 miles east. Aiken Regional Medical Centers is about 30 miles south. The Aiken-Saluda corridor offers a useful combination for both healthcare and day trips. The honest caveat: retail options in Saluda are limited, and you'll drive to Aiken or Columbia for most specialty shopping. But for retirees who want a real Courthouse Square small town, genuine affordability, and an easy drive to two solid cities, Saluda has been quietly doing this right for years. Number 4, 96. I want you to stop for a second and appreciate the fact that there is a town in South Carolina named 96. Not 96th Street, not 96 acres. The actual town is named 96. And that is entirely appropriate because this place has exactly the kind of personality that can carry an unusual name. 96 is in Greenwood County in the Western Midlands, about 10 miles south of the city of Greenwood and 75 miles west of Columbia. Population is around 1,800. The inland location puts it well outside any coastal flood or hurricane zone. Median home prices in 96 have been running in the low 100s to 130s, with 3-bedroom homes regularly available under $140,000. Greenwood County's effective property tax rate is competitive, and after the senior homestead exemption kicks in, retirees here report very manageable annual tax bills. The broader Greenwood County area runs about 20% below the national average on cost of living. The wild card earns this town its spot. 96 is home to the 96 National Historic Site, a National Park Service property that preserves the location of one of the longest sieges of the American Revolution in the South. In 1781, Patriot forces under General Nathaniel Greene laid siege to the British-held fort here for 28 days. The original earthworks are still visible. A real star fort, preserved by the National Park Service, sits in a town of 1,800 people. For history-minded retirees, that's not a footnote, that's a reason to move. Self-regional healthcare in Greenwood, 10 miles north, provides cardiac care, cancer services, and a full emergency department. That's one of the best hospital proximity situations on this entire list. If you've made it this far, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach more people who are trying to figure out where to retire without going broke. Number 3, Edgefield. Edgefield stopped me cold the first time I drove through it. The Courthouse Square is the kind of thing you'd put in a movie if you wanted to show what a southern county seat was supposed to look like. Front porches, old oaks, a working clock tower, and a sense of historical weight you can actually feel when you stand in the middle of it. Edgefield is the county seat of Edgefield County in the Western Midlands, about 25 miles north of Aiken and 55 miles southwest of Columbia. Town population is around 4,600. The inland location puts it completely outside any coastal hurricane or flood zone. The Aiken area's amenities, arts district, University of South Carolina Aiken campus, and equestrian culture are close enough to use regularly. Median home prices in Edgefield have been in the $150,000 to $180,000 range, with the rural county showing lower averages outside of town. Edgefield County property taxes are competitive with other rural SC counties, and the homestead exemption for seniors provides meaningful relief. Cost of living here runs roughly 15 to 20% below the national average. The wild card is one of the most remarkable facts in South Carolina history. Edgefield County has produced 10 governors of the state. 10. No other county comes close. The county's official tagline is home of 10 governors, and they mean it literally. Among them is Strom Thurmond, born right here in Edgefield, who went on to serve 48 years in the U.S. Senate and become the longest-serving senator in American history. The county's political lineage is embedded in every corner of the town. Aiken Regional Medical Centers is about 25 miles south and offers a nationally recognized cardiac program. The Aiken Corridor gives Edgefield retirees easy access to a genuine small city's amenities at rural prices. The caveat, retail in Edgefield is limited, and you'll drive to Aiken for most major shopping. But the historic depth, the courthouse square, and the Aiken proximity make this one of the most underrated retirement addresses in the state. Number 2, McCormick. McCormick might be the most genuinely surprising town on this entire list, and not just because of the price. It's surprising because it has a lake situation that rivals anything South Carolina's coastal resorts can offer, except quieter, more affordable, and without the vacation home crowd turning everything into an investment property. McCormick is the county seat of McCormick County in the Western Midlands, sitting on the edge of Clarks Hill Lake, also called Lake Thurmond, which at 71,000 acres is one of the largest man-made lakes in the eastern United States. McCormick is about 60 miles southwest of Columbia and 35 miles from Augusta, Georgia. The population of the town is around 2,500, but the county draws a significant retiree population through Savannah Lakes Village, a 5,000-acre active adult community with 2 golf courses and direct lake access. Median home prices in McCormick County have been running around $150,000 to $180,000, with Savannah Lakes Village homes ranging from $100,000 to over $400,000, depending on lot position. For what you get, lakefront living, golf, a marina, and an organized community, the prices are extraordinary compared to any coastal SC equivalent. McCormick County property taxes are among the lowest in the state. The wild card, McCormick was literally built on gold. The Dorn Gold Mine, located right in town, was one of the most productive gold mines in South Carolina history, operating from the 1850s through the early 20th century. The mine is now a historic site, but the gold rush identity is still embedded in the streets. There's something fitting about retiring to a town built on gold that still feels like a hidden treasure. Self Regional Healthcare in Greenwood is about 35 miles northeast. Augusta University Medical Center in Georgia is about 35 miles south, giving retirees 2 directions for specialist care. The honest caveat, McCormick County is remote, and the town itself has limited commercial options. You'll drive 35 miles for most specialty services, but for a lakefront retirement with golf, a marina, and a monthly cost of living that might shock your coastal friends, McCormick is not a secret that keeps much longer. Number 1, Cheraw. I want to tell you about a town in South Carolina where jazz was born, where a river bends through a forest of longleaf pines that have been growing since before the Revolution, where a historic district covers more than 200 acres, and where you can buy a house in the middle of all of that for under $200,000. The town is Cheraw. It is the best retirement value in South Carolina that most people have never heard of. Cheraw sits in Chesterfield County in the northeastern part of the state, about 75 miles northeast of Columbia and 55 miles southeast of Charlotte. Population is around 5,500. The town is set well back from the coast, inland Pee Dee country, where the landscape is defined by the Great Pee Dee River and stretches of longleaf pine forest. Cheraw State Park, the oldest state park in South Carolina, sits right at the edge of town with a lake, hiking trails, and a golf course. Median home prices in Cheraw have been running from $140,000 to $180,000. Chesterfield County property taxes are low, and after the homestead exemption kicks in for homeowners 65 and older, the annual tax bill on a mid-range home here can run under $800. Cost of living in Chesterfield County runs around 20 to 25% below the national average. The wild card that earns Cheraw the number 1 spot. John Burks. Dizzy Gillespie was born here on October 21, 1917. one of the most influential musicians in the history of American jazz, a man who essentially co-invented bebop, came from Cheraw, South Carolina. The town has not forgotten it. The South Carolina Jazz Festival is held in Cheraw every spring and draws performers and audiences from across the country. Gillespie's childhood home is a local landmark. For a retiree who cares about culture and real history, there is no other small town in South Carolina with a story this good. McLeod Health Cheraw is right in town, a full-service hospital with emergency services, surgery, and a range of specialties. You don't have to drive 30 miles, the hospital is here. Cheraw's historic district, with more than 200 acres on the National Register of Historic Places, gives the town an architectural richness that most South Carolina cities 3 times its size would envy. The tree canopy over the downtown streets has been growing for 150 years. The State Park Lake is 5 minutes from the courthouse. And every spring, when the Jazz Festival sets up on the downtown square and the music drifts through those old live oaks, you understand why someone might choose to retire here rather than anywhere else in the state. The honest caveat, Cheraw is a small town with small town limitations. Specialist care beyond McLeod may require driving to Florence or Columbia, and the entertainment calendar outside of festival season is quiet. But quiet is often exactly what a retiree is looking for, and when that quiet comes wrapped in 200 acres of historic architecture, a state park at the end of the street, and the birthplace of Dizzy Gillespie, the quiet is very good company. The 12 towns on this list aren't famous, they're not on the billboards, they don't have Super Bowl ads, but every single one of them offers something that South Carolina's most celebrated retirement destinations lost a long time ago: character, affordability, a sense of place, and a front porch where someone might actually sit down and talk to you. If this video helped you rethink where to spend your retirement in South Carolina, subscribe to the channel. I drop videos like this every week covering the best small towns, the most underrated places to live, and the real estate realities the industry doesn't put in the brochure. Drop a comment below telling me which one of these 12 towns you'd actually move to. I read every single one. I'll see you in the next one.